if you don't have faith in it, I'll tell you on the guarantees. I'll tell you my experience with it. I could do it very easily. I have seen several people not get it because they were guaranteed. I've seen it used by the person not to get the course. And I'll tell you the reason why I charge. For 24 years I put this out. Not only would I not charge, I wouldn't take a donation. Donations were collected and given to me, and I turned them back. I was aware of my doing a disservice to people, but I just couldn't charge. Freud said it way back in the beginning. Unfortunately, my patients get better to the degree that they have to pay for it. We are subconsciously so conditioned to value in accordance with what we put out. If I didn't charge you, I would be doing you a disservice.
That's all right. We don't know.
Well, I do. This is a love I have, which I wouldn't do to you.
I've been doing this for 24 years, you said?
Yeah. I have only put it out in an organized way now, charging for it in the past 2 years. I started roughly about 2 years ago. And I had far more effectiveness in the past 2 years than I had in the previous 22 years. Because...
This money talk almost gets me itchy to say something. I'm a graduate. And I had the same feelings when I came here the first time. I didn't know anybody. I read this little notice somewhere. And it sounded like a rip-off to me, because they don't tell me what it is and come and find out. Some intuition said to me, okay, risk it. You had lots before, and I took it. And now, 5 months later, it is so incredible what I've gotten for it. It's not even that dramatic. I wasn't lying in the gutter and was screaming in pain. No, I was pretty well adjusted because I had taken everything, you name it. Religious side, mind control, Buddhism. I'd gone to many paths, and I took something from each path, and I felt I was getting better, and I was functioning very nicely, thank you, but underneath there was a great deal of pain. And I kept it down, and it worked. And this has taken this pain and literally dissolved it, and I'm in a state which is absolutely beautiful. And believe me, $195, it's ridiculous to even talk about. And no matter what your financial condition is, it's worth that and many thousands more. If you go for 2 or 3 years to an analyst, you would consider 3,000 cheap, surely. And there's not...
I wanted to say, that number one, it worked for you, just as many people want to Freudian or Bornine psychiatrists. It's worked for them very well, and yet many thousands of others who want these Bornine and Freudian psychiatrists, it hasn't worked for them. So what's good for one may not be good for the other. And also I wanted to comment on the old way of psychiatry where they said if you don't pay for it, you won't get better, or you won't get better as fast, and has to be a sacrifice. Well, there was a recent report in Psychology Today that said that they found that even when the patients don't pay for it, like when they get it from on Medicaid or in a clinic, the amount of people that get well or that don't get well is the same as for the ones who pay for.
Well, sir, I'm not talking about just getting well. I'm talking about being in a state where the world can do its thing, but I'm not affected the same way I was before. That's something which is far beyond well.
How has your life changed? You sound very convincing.
How's it changed? Well, first of all, that I stand here and talk, that's a change. That's a big change. And I don't feel uptight about it. If you all could tell me to shut up and sit down, I wouldn't feel rejected. Now, rejection has been a major thing in my life. It wasn't always acknowledged, but it was there. And in many relationships, it came out inside, and it did those little things that weren't very nice. That is a change which is very dramatic to me, maybe not to you, but to me that's a big one. In other ways, it makes everything easier. Including if the landlord gives me a hard time, I don't get uptight and I'm able to function better. I can see better through him, I can feel better with him. If professionally I'm functioning very well.
Excuse me, you said if the landlord gives you a hard time, like you said, well, you're evicted, you mean you can smile, just pack up your things and walk out, right?
Well, as you asked me a direct question, the answer is yes. It's not that much more, that's not that important anymore what the world does to me, it's how I react to it. I find a way, I feel relaxed about it. I would have been shaken up, say, a year ago, yes.
Have you been able to deal with things that have happened in your childhood that you've been upset about?
Oh, that is so big, I can't even start to talk about it. It would take me 3 weeks to explain to you. I have literally shed these things like shells, like an egg that has 50,000 shells. They came off just by themselves. And as they came off, that's what we call letting go. It's like I'm flying. I'm like in a balloon, and the baggage comes off, and I'm just floating because these things that happen, even things that I don't remember, they're still, the computer carries them forward and presses, and they are coming off. Yeah, that's probably the greatest one.
And this is permanently? You don't have to keep doing this every month and a half or something?
Well,
I mean,
once it's done, once it's done, it doesn't come back. I have a very simple example. It may not be terribly dramatic, but I have a little dog. I'm very fond of him. He's 12 years old, and he's a little sunshine. He's a Yorkshire Terrier. And right after I took the course, he came down with a growth, and it was cancerous. And it was very sad. But I applied the method, and I saw him suffer, very deeply suffer. And I was not affected in the same way. I was able to love him more, but not suffer. However, 4 weeks ago, he came down with a second cancer, growth. And this seemed to be really serious. And this time, I did not have to go through the same process again. It worked. That, to me, was a big thing, because I thought I would have to go through the same thing and apply what I learned. Didn't have to be. It was an identical situation, and it didn't need to be redone. That doesn't mean if a new situation would come up, I wouldn't use the method. But this time, I had a proof. And a dog, what is emotionally attached to it. However, I'm letting myself love him more, because I'm not worried about losing him now, which is foreseeable in the near future. I'm not worried about suffering, because I can just allow myself to love and not to pay the price.
Good, thank you. Good to bring her to every meeting.
Excuse me, Matt. By you taking this course here, do you feel like you are the master of yourself? Are you the cause and effect of everything that happens to you through this course?
I'm the course, yes. I accept it. I'm accepting my
do you feel like you are the master of your own self? Like,
I feel that I'm in harmony. Yes, I feel that, yes.
You're in harmony.
Yeah. Yes.
You are the cause and effect of everything that happens to you.
Right.
And without this course, you would have never been able to obtain, the harmony that you have within yourself.
I might have, but certainly not in this length of time. These 5 months, that's from where I can see, is incredible. That's something I've never seen before. I have taken things from everything. If you sit long enough and practice Buddhism, you get better, but it takes a very long time to get there. And there was a great deal of pain underneath, even when I was peacefully meditating, that I could not cope with. And this, I have been able to take care of.
Thank you.
Is there any chance that the process that helps you release stuff could be used against you to stuff?
No. What you're dumping are really subconscious inhibitions and compulsions, none of which are any good. Every bit of which is interfering with your freedom in life and happiness.
Does this have anything to do with actual the star,
See, what I say is the same as what you've heard from many schools, but our method is not like any other one. It's unique.
far as you know, it's never been done in any other culture or time in history.
Right.
Does this depend on self-knowledge, insight, awareness? In other words, interpreting the feelings that come from the so-called unconscious, making them conscious, illuminating them?
No, we don't interpret, we don't dwell in them, we discharge them, dump them. We say it's all the subconscious feelings are nothing but garbage. And if you're dumping garbage, why bother examining it and smelling it and looking at it? Dump it. Be rid of it.
But how? How do you dump it?
That's the course. It'll come to this. I can't give it to you through the reasoning mind. As I said before, if I could have, it would have been in a book, and I could have spared myself all this.
It seems to me that the leaders of S and those other things, and yourself as well, are asking the public to buy something on faith. Now, I don't say that.
No,
you have to offer
I'm not
ballot
saying
book.
on faith. Talk to those who have been through it.
Even then, through the unsolicited testimonials or even solicited testimonials that we've had this evening, and these people come through very, very nicely, especially that lady. But still, it's buying something on faith because we're looking at an obviously sincere woman over there who's speaking positively for the course.
I'll go along with you.
And if I were to say yes, I think I'll take it. I'm buying it on faith.
Yes. You have to have a certain amount of faith.
That's right.
That's true.
Did you ever buy a tuna fish sandwich?
On faith. Or not. Yeah.
It's the same principle. What's the difference between
Yeah, but it's
70
only a dollar or so.
Yeah, but it has glass in it, rocks, elbows, you can have anything in it. But you trust it, it's a tuna fish sandwich. You've checked out, your sensitive told you, here's a going restaurant. And they're obviously not poisoning people, and some of the people seem to be enjoying the meal and the ambience and so forth. Same principle. Look around. Talk to us after the meeting. No, do you want to talk to us?
Yeah, but that's a little, I wanted to say, but that's a little bit, you could stretch that even further and say, like, well, if I will come over and say, look, I know a good deal of secret thing, you know what I mean?